You don't know what you're talking about. That's not how you do it. You can't do it like that. You can't do this. You can't do that. You can't say this. You can't say that. You're not even qualified. Now, these are the kinds of tame negative comments that entrepreneurs receive on a weekly basis, some people on a daily basis. And I say these are tame because they are. They get more vile, they get more negative the more you put yourself out there. They start turning into personal attacks. Now, this happens to everyone, almost every entrepreneur. If it's not happening to you, it's most probably because you haven't put yourself out there enough to really reap the benefits of being negatively and harshly commented about. Because when you're an entrepreneur, you're putting yourself in the public eye. With sound mind and willingness, you're putting yourself out there into the firing line for all of this negative feedback to come at you. And of course, positive feedback as well. But positive feedback is awesome, negative feedback sucks, so that's what we're going to talk about in this video. So every single entrepreneur that has put themselves out there, that has been brave enough and bold enough to put part of their personal story out into the world, or really stand up for what they believe in, or stand against what they hate about their industry or about whatever topic that they're talking about, receives backlash every now and then. Now, I receive it all the time. Whenever I put out, one of my passionate rants, and if you follow me on Facebook, you see that I put them up quite often. I get people either commenting publicly on that post, or that private message me or email me, saying something nasty. When that happens, all I know is that this person, no matter what they're saying, no matter what their comment might be, is either triggered by something that I've said, something that I've written, or they're just simply not the person who is meant to read what I've written. So what you also need to remember is that when these things happen, when these comments start coming out, start coming out into the light, because people are always thinking about it, but when they start putting it out there, you always have to remember that their comments are not a reflection on who you are. They're not about you. They may be personal comments, so they might be, your hair's ugly, or your voice is annoying, or you don't know what you're talking about. You're not qualified to talk about this kind of stuff. There might be personal things like that. That still doesn't mean that it's about you. It's about them, and how whatever they see in you or what you're saying, they can see that, and it triggers something about themselves that they don't like. So they want to pick on you for bringing that up for them. Okay? So just remember that when you're receiving negative comments, if you start receiving them, so like if after this video you go and write something, really out there, a passionate rant, standing up for what you stand for, standing against what you hate, and then you start receiving these comments, just remember that. But what also happens when you write like that, when you put yourself out there, when you get personal enough to really say what you think, is that you get people hating on you, yeah, that happens, but you also get people that are loving what you say. And those are the ones you're talking to. Those are the ones who you want in your little circle. Those are the ones you want to be in your world. You're weeding out those, haters, those negative Nancy's, all of those people. You're saying, yeah, well, you've been following me, you've seen what I've written, you don't like it, cool, now scoot. And then you're welcoming all the ones that do love what you are saying, love what you're about, love what you stand for, love what you stand against, because they believe in the same stuff as you. And when you start doing that, it forms a stronger bond between you and that person, or those people that love what you do. So I want to talk about how to respond to these negative comments, how to how to deal with them when they come through, because they are quite hurtful. You do get quite hurt, and I get hurt sometimes when these negative comments come through. So the first thing I do, and the first thing I tell my clients to do, is to, if you feel up to it, respond to that comment. If they made it in a public forum, respond publicly. Okay? You don't have to respond, well, you shouldn't respond, while stooping down to their level. So you shouldn't, backfire with personal comments on them and their intelligence and everything about that. But I like to respond to people with questions. Things like, what made you say that? Thanks for your feedback. Is there something you need clarity on? Is there something you need to understand further? Because usually, it's the first reason why they're saying that is what I said before, is they're seeing something in themselves and they don't like it, so they're picking on you for bringing it up. The second one is that they don't understand you, or they don't understand your message. If they simply don't know what you're about, they don't have that knowledge yet, just explain to them. They may just need a bit of clarity, a bit of understanding, and a bit of knowledge about your message and about what you're really trying to say. Now, when this happens, you could either get a convert, so they could come over to the light, which is awesome, or they'll keep digging their little hole and start, keep being the nasty person that they obviously are, if they're going to keep, giving negative, feedback or negative comments back to you. And those are the people that you just ignore from there and don't even bother with them anymore. Now, you'd ignore messages or you'd ignore comments or feedback if they're just blatantly stupid. So things like, nice boobs or whatever. I would just ignore that. If some guy's just trying to be a dick, just ignore it, whatever. People are going to see that he's just being an ass. And, you don't need to give any time to that. You can delete it if you want also. But those are the kinds of things that I'll just ignore. If they're obviously stupid, if they just, they just don't need any of your time. And you would only delete comments, I would only delete comments or delete messages or emails if they were borderline or actual harassment. So if they were threatening in any way, or just delete and block the person from ever trying to or ever being able to contact me or get in touch with me again. We don't have time for that. That's not going to happen. So just remember, when you receive these negative comments, and if you're putting yourself out there enough into the world, you will be receiving them. Okay, so just keep that as a benchmark as well, just as a side note, that if you're not receiving any negative feedback or any negative comments yet, then you haven't put yourself out there enough. You haven't become vulnerable enough. You haven't fought hard enough for what you're fighting for or what you're fighting against yet in the public, and that's what you need to be doing. Because negative comments, they're a benchmark to tell you that, yes, you're doing it right. You are weeding out the negative people out of your life, and you're welcoming in all the positive people, all the people that are just like you, that are on the same mission as you are. Now, in the comments below, I would love to know, if you have received any negative comments in the past, how have you dealt with them? How have you handled them? And how have they made you feel? Okay? What I try to do when I receive these negative comments, even though some of them do hurt me, is I try not to take any of them personally, because none of them are really about me. They're all about how that person obviously thinks about themselves. If you haven't received any negative comments yet, what I want you to do, and if you've received negative comments as well, you can join in on this as well. But if you haven't received any yet, what I would love for you to do is write a piece, like a piece that you can put on Facebook, on your blog, send out in an email, that really encapsulates what you stand for or what you stand against, and getting really angry about it, getting really pissed off about, whatever injustice there is in your industry or in your world or in your environment right now that you want to see fixed, that you want to see better. Okay? So if you go through if you friend me on Facebook, I put most of my personal rants, well, a lot of my personal rants on my personal profile. So if you friend me on Facebook, just go through my profile. I think my profile is public anyway, so you can just go through it without friending me. Just have a look at some of my rants, have a look at stuff that I write about, and use those as, your inspiration for your next piece. Now, the question that I like to ask clients when I get them to do this exercise is, what really pisses you off about your industry right now? What absolutely fucks you off, okay? It could be about your clients. It could be about prospective clients. It could be about, other service providers that are like you that do dodgy work or whatever. What pisses you off about your industry? Start from there, write your ranty rant, your passionate rant, and post it in the comments, or even better, post it on Facebook, post it in your blog, and send me a link to it so I can have a look. Okay, I will see you in the next video, ladies, and I'd love to hear you in the comments. Bye! Hey ladies, it's Philippa Kitty Patia here again. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you were able to take some of the points from this video and get some ideas on what you need to do to take your business to that next level. Now, if you'd like personalized help for you and for your business specifically, I have an offer for you. It's a free business strategy session where you and me get on the phone and actually look at where your business is now, decide where you want it to be, and map out a plan on how to actually get there. Now, if you want that personalized help, just head over to www.philippakittypatia.com/apply to apply for your free business strategy session. I look forward to chatting with you and helping you take your business to new heights.